Good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, guys. Let me make sure you guys can hear me all good. Happy Friday, everyone. Let me see. Oh, I got this on Zoom. 2 seconds, guys. There we go. Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Welcome back, guys. Let me just get this up here. You guys on Zoom can hear me all good. YouTube all good. Just turn this up a little bit. Audio pretty good. Awesome. Thank you, man. Welcome back, everyone. Happy Friday, guys. If any of you guys are new here, welcome. My name is Aaron, also known as Aaron Trades. I've been trading for the past 7 years and mainly focus on gold futures here in the European session. So good to be back home with you guys. NQ had some crazy moves yesterday. Huge sell-off on NQ, massive break back higher. Gold had an absolutely huge leg higher. Apologies yesterday, guys, the Wi-Fi cut out. I had to reset it, and by the time I reset it, unfortunately, the stream had ended. But it looked like it was a little bit of a choppy session in London. You did end up hitting that 42.50 level like we spoke about, which was a pretty decent long trade on gold. Not the cleanest of positions. New York was the main real play. I did get stopped out on a trade yesterday on gold before then getting back in and being up 500 a day. So I was initially minus 600 on the day yesterday on gold, and then managed to get back to plus 500, which was, yeah, a little bit frustrating to be minus 600 because my trade was great. Gold just came down for an extra liquidity grab. If you guys are over on X, I did post about the Wi-Fi dropping out yesterday. We also spoke about the longs on gold in the London session into 42.50. And when I post this, gold was like somewhere down here. So it was nice London scalp there into 42.50. And then I did post this trade later on as well. Start of the day, minus 600. And like I said, sometimes in trading, you need to give your trades a second chance without getting emotional about the first loss. So then I did post that trade in there as well. So if you guys are over on X, feel free to drop myself a follow. If you hashtag London Open at TopstepTV, I will see your guys' charts as well. Yeah, you pretty much, Sean, to be honest. I kind of agree. What happened? Wait, what happened? Any more refunds from the Asian Open glitch? Yeah, literally sure. Asian Open glitch, couldn't close my positions in profit, ended up taking a 50-point loss. Yeah, you have to reach out to Spot. I have no idea with that, man. I'm just the London Open man. I don't know. I'm not Topstep support. I'm just the guy who trades London Open. But yeah, if you contact support, I'm sure they'll be able to help you out. 50 points in Asia. Where was it? What happened? Was there a glitch or something? How much did you move? You moved 50 points in a 50-point range. So you moved in a 50-point range, and what, you lost 50 points? Were you buying right at the highs? Or what happened? I don't even know what happened. I don't know if there was a glitch. I'm not too sure. It's 8 AM for me, so I'm not really too sure. Gold having a great push here already, guys. But yeah, lovely buys on gold yesterday. For you guys who were here yesterday, like I said multiple times, it was an easy bullish bias day on gold. Why were we buying gold yesterday? Well, look at that daily time frame. We've been in this range since the 3rd of December. You finally broke out of it on the back of FOMC. So what's our job coming onto the charts here yesterday? More buying. Super simple. You break above 42.50, you break out of this range. Do I look for shorts coming onto the charts on the 11th of December? Absolutely not. We look for longs. And that's exactly what we did, and that's exactly what we made money on. And it was a great day. Unfortunately, I didn't get to capitalize on this day as much as I would have liked. You know, I was looking back at this yesterday evening being like, man, this was a 500 tick move. Yeah, I only managed to get $500 out of it. Should have been like a couple of $1,000 day. But it ended up being a great push. Now with gold breaking out, we do need to adjust some of these key levels here. So we're breaking back higher on gold. Could we see gold at some new all-time highs before the end of the year? Wouldn't that be crazy? Then we have 4,400. So we've broken above 4,300 here. We're retesting 4,300, and now we're making our way towards 4,350. Above 4,350, then we have 4,400, and then above that we have historical all-time highs at 4,450, which would be absolutely huge, which we've never hit before. So gold having a very, very nice breakout. Some traders experienced an issue. They couldn't close a position. Most traders weren't affected. Yeah, if you were affected, yeah, just contact the support via the dashboard. Yeah, extra liquidity threw me off yesterday. Yes, me too, man. It actually stopped me out. This extra liquidity grab yesterday, I don't know why you needed it, but sometimes you do. And this was my trade here. I was in this trade yesterday, and I got stopped out for about minus $600. And then I was like, okay, cool, fine. Let me wait. It's a little bit annoying because I was very confident that you would at least tag these highs here. If not, come back up to, I think we spoke about this in our New York market call, come back up into these areas. So I took an initial loss there, which was pretty frustrating because gold had been so range bound for the whole entire day. But I was like, you know what? Is the trade invalid? At this point, yes. So I was like, cool, the trade's invalid right now. It's valid when I took it. At here, it's invalid. But as soon as this candle closes back above, the trade becomes valid again. I go look at my hourly time frame and I go, oh, you still broke out, which is an extra liquidity gap. Let me get right back in. So I got right back in the trade, ended up having a huge push. So although I didn't make as much of this as I would have liked, I was initially in a pretty decent loss today, probably the biggest loss I would have had on this account since I have had it. I was like minus $600 or something, which would have been the biggest loss that I have had, which, yeah, well, that is the worst. So it still counts because it's still the worst trade that I've had. So that is still now my new worst trade on this account, even though I was able to end the day up green plus $500. Yesterday ended up being the worst trade I've had in this account, which I've had since like almost 2 months now. But again, like I say, give the trade a second chance. I was able to end the day up plus 500. The power of managing the risk and keeping the emotions neutral. So what could we see today on gold? Obviously, you've had this huge breakout yesterday. The tough thing is you've already had this great push in Asia. You know, you have a big trend line coming down. Most people trying to short that. Was there any buys here in Asia? It looks pretty messy, to be honest. Looks like Asia was very, very messy. Didn't really grab any downside. You did break out, but yeah, realistically, I wouldn't have taken this buy in Asia. But you did break out at 5:30 London time here, but there was no bottom wick, so that was a pretty decent push there. I don't think there was really any opportunities here in Asia. You wouldn't want to get trapped in this triangle. You know, the way we trade these triangle patterns is if we're going to see a long trade in this triangle, then you typically want to see something like that before it's taking the long. Which makes me think the fact that we're grabbing the highs, could we then be now coming for the lows? Maybe gold's due a little bit of a correction here to end the week. If we have a quick look at the weekly time frame, because it is Friday here, guys, gold's had a beautiful continuation higher, back up into major all-time high resistance. Major resistance. So no, I don't really see there's been any trades so far yet for the day. Although this is a pretty decent move up, doesn't mean it has to be our trade. Just because the market's moving up and down doesn't mean we have to be in it all the time. But you are grabbing some nice highs without liquidating the lows. As long as this hasn't been grabbed on the currency chart, there's potential for a pullback short here on gold. I was in one contract for them trades. I was in one contract. Should usually risk 200-300 per trade. See that during NY, you're trading GC rather than MGC. No, I personally sometimes risk a little bit more than 200-300. Depends on the trade, depends on the buffer. If I'm trading London, I'll probably risk like maybe 150, 200. If I'm trading New York, I risk a little bit more. Depends on the risk to reward. Check silver. Yep, definitely we can have a look at silver. We'll have a look at some other markets here as well today, guys. Second long was right at resistance. It depends on what time frame you're looking at. It's a higher time frame support, maybe intraday resistance, but again, my thought process yesterday is that's what everyone would be thinking. A lot of people would be thinking that's resistance, let me try and jump in short. So the fact that you hadn't re-grabbed these highs, I was buying up into that liquidity level. But it depends on what time frame you're looking at. I actually could have got back in here. I looked at this yesterday, I actually could have got back in here. But because the range was so choppy, I was happy to wait for the hourly to close. And the hourly close was like somewhere up here. So I took it from there instead. But the main reason for the trade is kind of what we spoke about in the London session. You guys who were here yesterday, remember how we spoke about in the London session that we want to be buying gold from all of these levels. And look at this, you had this huge support, you had a massive trend line coming down. Like, man, this was a big day. This is a big, big, big day. You guys who were here yesterday, remember, if you go back and watch yesterday's stream before it ended, this was the support level that we were buying London off. And this was my whole reason for wanting to buy yesterday. Is FOMC, you tagged lows, you broke out, you pulled back, you continued ripping higher. This is what everyone would have been thinking. Oh yeah, this is probably big resistance, you know. How many people do you think would have been trapped in something like this yesterday? Personally, I think a lot. I think a lot of people would have been shorting this, risking off that higher. Yeah, literally waited 2 weeks for this day. That's the thing, man. If you're able to capitalize on this day a lot more, waiting a week for this day would have absolutely paid. I think I've only taken because gold's been so choppy recently, I've only taken 2 trades this week. Traded 2 days out of the whole entire week just because gold has been so choppy. And it's not to say there isn't opportunities within here. It's more so just to say that, you know, if I trade in here, this is usually where I end up taking the stupid losses, that the trades that I really know I shouldn't be in. So I'm like, you know, yeah, it's a little bit frustrating when, you know, gold's creating a very, very messy daily range. Look at this daily price action. It's so choppy and messy. It's like, yeah, it's very frustrating in here. I find it as frustrating in here as, you know, you guys do find it. The only difference with me is I know this range isn't going to hold forever. And at some point you're going to break out and you're going to have a much easier trade and a way better trade. And these are usually the times where, you know, you get chopped up, you know, we all make money here. We all make money here. Everyone gives it back here and they're chasing their tail here. Whereas I'll make money here. I might stay patient. I might take a couple of break-evens, small losses, and I'll make more money here. Same as here. I'll make money. I'll take minimal trades, small paper cut losses, couple break-evens, manage the risk, trade a very small size, and I'll absolutely maximize this. And that's how the markets move. You know, we push up, we range for a while, and then we continue, or we push lower. So these times are what make or break traders. I can almost guarantee you, a lot of people trading since probably the 1st of December would have been getting absolutely wiped out trying to trade gold in these range and just forcing trades and getting frustrated. But like I say to you guys, these are the times that absolutely makes or breaks traders. And one of the hardest things in trading, but one of the most important things in trading, is knowing when to trade and knowing when not to trade. So I can take trades in here, you know, when I get the good opportunities. There was little scalps in here. But realistically, I know there's going to be a lot less trades in here because we're very, 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 very choppy. And this is probably, to be honest, this was the choppiest I had seen gold in a very, very long time. A very, very long time. It kind of looks like you were trending nicely within this. But for the most part, especially in London, you were creating like really, really, really ugly ranges. Like really tough hourly price action. Like even in here, this was the New York session on Tuesday. Really, really messy, even in here. Like it is just so choppy. And if the hourly time frame is ranging, the lower time frame is even harder to trade. So they're the times that most people can get wiped out if you can't bear to not be in a position. But if you can wait, you can let the markets break out, pull back, and then get this leg, you will absolutely thank yourself for not trading during the times where you know you shouldn't be in a trade. Because you're not trying to chase just to get back to break even and just trying to scrape back losses. You're trying to get profitable. We got London open in about 30 minutes as well, guys. I want to see how gold's going to react around here. Good morning, Aaron. Good morning, man. What was the reason for not cutting the loss early? There wasn't an opportunity, to be honest, man. So I got long here on this breakout. Stop was below this liquidity low, and I was just trading the 30-minute time frame. So there was no opportunity for me to actually cut this early. If the 30-minute had closed bearish like this, I would have absolutely cut it early, but it actually didn't give me an opportunity, which doesn't happen very often. Like this hasn't happened in the past like 2 months. Like you guys can see, it's the reason this is the biggest loss. It just opened, ripped the stops, and didn't give me a chance to manage. I wasn't looking at any lower time frame. I was just trading the 30-minute. So I was like, fine, you know, stop me out. Let me wait for the next 30-minute close. Next 30-minute close right back above, and just got right back in. Yeah, I feel like it's a pretty good idea, Sam, to be honest. London's not been the easiest recently. Not been the easiest past few weeks, that's for sure. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Separate account for London, separate account for New York. See which you perform better on. Yeah, that's a good idea. Nice work getting back in. That's where I need to improve. Yeah, I mean, getting back into a trade and giving a trade a second chance is definitely a hard skill to have. It's more importantly, you know, you just have to make sure you're not getting back in for an emotional reason. Like a lot of people take a loss and they start just chasing the trade. But when I see this close bearish and stop me out, I don't even think about longs. I'm like, oh, that's fine. It's a little bit annoying. Let me see the next candle close. Next candle could have easily came down to tag the lows, but it closed back above. It was also the last 30 minute of the hourly. So as soon as I see that breakout, huge liquidity wick, yeah, I'm buying this candle all day long. All day long. And that's the reality of trading. Is sometimes you can get into a trade, it does exactly what you want. Sometimes, especially in these ranges, you have to be willing to give your trade a couple of chances. As long as you can keep the losses small, manage the emotions, yeah, it's the absolute key. It's the absolute key. If ever I do take a loss like that, you know, minus $600, which is a pretty decent loss for me, I do like to wait for at least the next candle to close. So like here, I get stopped out here, call it, you know, this 130 candle, I walk away. I don't even watch it, because if I watch it and I chase and do something stupid, I know I'll regret it. So I'll wait for this candle to close, walk away for 30 minutes, and then I'll get back in. Yeah, that's it. Sometimes you can, yeah, you do have to ask yourself, am I getting back in because the trade has become valid again? Or am I getting back in just because I want to make back the loss? For the most part, most people get back in because they want to make back the loss. But for me, I got back in purely based off this hourly time frame. It's very, very rare, if ever, you will see gold. You know, you kind of hear tag lows, you broke out. Like that should be enough of a liquidity grab to push. Like here, tag lows, you push. That was the London trade from yesterday we took. But then you came down with that extra liquidity grab, which happens sometimes, went all the way back above, and then ripped. Morning, Anthony. Can we look at NQ? Yep, we're going to look at NQ, man. Absolutely. Let me just see what, I kind of want to see what gold's going to do around here. We do have time here. I wonder if gold is going to have a bit of a potential pullback here. You never really grabbed the lows here. You kind of just had this trend line, you broke it and just kind of squeezed. So we don't really want to be trading gold this high. So we have a little bit of time here on gold. Let's have a look at NQ. Pretty beautiful daily close here on NQ. Look at this huge liquidity wick. Look at this. This is kind of like gold. Here, you tag the lows, you close bullish, you come for that extra liquidity grab. Pretty much looks exactly like my trade from gold yesterday. So with gold, NQ, wicking huge support, holding 25,500 and going from being down 380 points to waking all the way back above and closing bullish. I certainly wouldn't want to be selling NQ today, so I would be looking for longs today on NQ. I had a bit of a gap down here. Is that let me just check to my chart quickly. Do I have an actual gap down there? Let me see. There's my NQ chart here. Let me see. Just have a look at on my other chart here, just to see what that gap was. Yeah, it is a gap. Yeah, so you had a pretty decent gap down here. Let me just have a quick look as well, guys. Do we have any news today? Let's have a quick look. Trump says US will soon begin paying off national debt using tariff revenue. Look at that. No, we have no news today at all. No news. That's a pretty hot story. Yeah, so no real news here today. I'm trying to see whether it's had a bit of a decent gap down. You had a huge breakout yesterday. You kind of gapped down here, which is a little bit strange. Again, NQ's been in a pretty aggressive range as well. Like, look at this, you know, it's huge, massive range. Now you tried to break back above 25,750. You're right back below it. But to be honest, even still, I wouldn't want to be selling NQ, personally. Not to say NQ can't go down like I always say, but personally, I wouldn't want to be selling NQ. I'd be looking for more longs. Even longs to come back up into that 2570. If the daily starts to break back higher, you could get some nice trades. Let's have a look at what you could potentially see for London. How can you tell when people are selling? so you can anticipate a squeeze or buying into a possible drop. I'll show you. I can show you on gold. It's basically just a lot of basic patterns that usually work the best, in a sense of, you know, if you see a trend line coming down on gold, which is what we had, like same thing here today in Asia, you see a trend line coming down. Well, how many people try and short trend lines? And unfortunately, they don't work anymore. So you're buying up into the trend lines because that's where most people are trying to short. You're buying into that breakout. I'll show you some other examples as well. Yeah, absolutely, Demi. And I had an absolutely incredible day. Absolutely amazing work, man. So NQ right now is there's nothing really to analyze. You are just ranging. You're just in a range. You're in a range after you had a huge. Look at this price action. Yes, this is why I can't. This is why I don't trade NQ for days like this. Look at this. You sell off 260 points. You instantly retrace 240. You then sell back down another 170, and then you end up ripping all the way back up for like 400. That is absolutely insane. And you obviously had a big gap down here, and now you're in a bit of a range. So I would like to see if you can buy this. Could you maybe see NQ come for the lows of the range before you do get that push? Yeah, maybe. It's pretty much the same way we trade gold. Look to come and target the lows of the range before you see the highs. I'd be very careful even looking at NQ in this range. No, yeah, that's the thing I was trying to see, but not that I can see. Not that I can see, but there's a very, very, very decent gap down. Why does my screen keep doing that? So yeah, I'd be pretty cautious trying to trade NQ. I wouldn't really be looking for anything. I wouldn't want to be dropping down too much lower than this as well, because again, you could just get very, very, very chopped up. So yeah, same reason for buying gold yesterday. As you're trying to understand levels where price hasn't grabbed. And, you know, typical market structure is what gold loves to absolutely manipulate. So here again, this is the whole reason for buying gold yesterday. Is you had this lovely breakout on FOMC. And what do? You create a third touch of a trend line. Well, how many people do you think are trying to short third touches of trend lines? I would say pretty much majority of traders are trying to short that. So what does that leave above? A lot of liquidity. If we do this for a second, if third touches of trend lines still worked, trading would be very, 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 very simple. So if I show you a textbook trend line like this, like for example, like this is how most people trade trend lines. You know, they wait for the third touch and then they try and get long, like this for example. Gold is never gonna bounce like this. It may have like this. Gold is, you're never gonna see that happen on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches on gold. You'll see, 2 or 3 touches and then you see that big manipulation. So that's an example of trying to understand. In this example, a nice short squeeze. People trying to short this. You're trying to buy up to squeeze out early sellers. And that's probably one of my favorite plays here in gold. Is and it goes for most patterns on gold. It loves that manipulation. Same as double bottoms, double tops. Good morning, Aaron. Good morning, man. Do most of the liquidity trades translate fairly well into NQ? Yeah, pretty much. NQ does pretty much the exact same thing. The only thing with NQ is you do have to correlate it to ES. But you can see here, look at this. You kind of here. Look at this. You came up. Again, it moves in its own different intraday characteristics. So I would master gold first. But yeah, you can see here, look, you have a double top. You come up. You tag the highest point, you have an absolutely huge sell-off. Where do you come down into? Well, the very lowest point. Look at this. Came down to the very lowest point. Even all the way back down into here. You can kind of see it was a bit of a double bottom here. So you tagged highs, came down, tagged the lows. And that was an absolutely huge trade. Even here, well, how did you feel this move up? Well, you came down, hit the lowest points, found some support, broke all the way to the highs. So you're just going from liquidity to liquidity. But in terms of its own intraday characteristics, it will move very different. But overall, yeah, it follows the same principles. Oh, look at this. Yo, Aaron, hey man, passed 4 combines this month, 2 of which had been going for 3 months. Still amazing, man. Hadn't passed a combine in a hot minute, so I was starting to worry, but pretty stoked now. Thanks for everything you do. As I said about that guy that left for after his history fit, no matter how much you do, the best thing you have provided us is certainty the strategy works. People overlook the work that goes into actually getting enough data. The trading will pay off. Absolutely, man. But you have and you saved us that works. Yes, absolutely, man. Which I think is more valuable than anything. So yeah, absolutely, man. So I appreciate you. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. It's absolutely amazing to hear. I appreciate that message, man. Passing, what do you say? Passing 4 combines this month is absolutely amazing, man. So I appreciate that message, man. Very kind words. It's good to, pleasure to have you here. Pleasure to have good people in here as well. So it's all about building a community of good, like-minded people who actually put the time in to test the strategy and find out for themselves that yes, this actually works. So I appreciate that, man. Haven't passed one in 6 months. That's amazing. To not pass a combine in 6 months, to then pass 4 this month is great. And to be honest, considering gold has been very tough recently, that's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. That's what we love to hear, man. I appreciate the message. Call it fluke. Nah, that's not fluke, man. If you haven't passed for 6 months and you passed this month and you're following the plan, that's not fluke, man. Good morning, Aaron. What did you do? What did you do with your personal day loss limit after loss? You got what, 250 to lock out? What was your stop loss? Not near. Sorry for the bad English. No need to apologize, man. Can read your question perfectly fine. Your English is great. No, I just upped my personal day loss limit a little bit because the trade was still valid. So my personal day loss limit was about 750, and at this point I was down 650, so I only had $100 to play with. And I was like, if I really want to give this trade a second chance, I do have to accept another loss. So I changed it to 1,000. I was happy to risk 1,000 on the day. I didn't just up it for an emotional reason. I was very happy with this trade. I was more than happy to lose $1,000 in the day. So I personally just upped it to 1,000. I was like, if that trade doesn't work, it stops me out for minus 1,000. I'm very happy with that. So I just had to up it to give it another chance, which definitely saved me because it would have stopped me out. And even if I'd hit the loss limit on this account, I would have just traded a different one because the trade was still there. I don't recommend you guys to obviously do that. Don't change your personal day loss limits. The only reason I have this personal day loss limit is, to be honest, is to show you guys I don't need this personal. I never hit it. Like if I lose a decent amount of dollar on the day, like I'll just stop trading. Like I don't need to hit that to stop me from tilting. I mainly just show the personal day loss limit for you guys to use because I think it's absolutely, if you're still kind of, getting funded and losing accounts, it's so important to use. But for me personally, I can just lock myself out for the day. I don't really mind too much. I didn't even lock myself out. I just close the charts. So that's why I just have it at 750. But really in this account, especially with the buffer and the payouts I've had, what do I have in this account right now? I have 6,200 in this account right now. So yeah, I would have been more than happy to lose like $1,000 here. I got 6,000 buffer in the account. My best trade on this account is like 2,000. Wait, that's where was it since we got it back here? Yeah, my best trade is 2,000. So if I had lost 1,000, yeah, I'd be more than happy with that. I'd be more than happy with that. So I absolutely don't recommend you guys do it. But again, I'd been trading for a while. I've seen the setup happen enough that, yeah, if I took another trade and I lost it, I would be very happy with that trade. We got London Open here, guys. So gold is still squeezing higher. You can see the way we're like correcting up. It looks like we're going to have a bit of a pullback. But again, gold can do that. When you creep up, it looks like you're going to reverse and you keep creeping higher. So unless we get some sort of intraday breakout, thank you, we don't want to short just yet. But I am looking for potential pullbacks here on gold. I wish you would stream more often. Thank you, man. I learn a lot and enjoy it. Thank you, man. I appreciate you tuning in. The last 30 days, I've made 11K on personal. Fantastic, man. It's absolutely amazing. 11K on personal is absolutely huge. Hey Anshuk, what's going on, man? We closed above yesterday's high. Planning for longs would make more sense. Yeah, it definitely would. But do we want to be buying gold this high? You know, if we actually measure gold from yesterday, you know, if we're looking at this from a high time frame, gold's up like 900 ticks, which is huge. So if we were looking at this from a completely neutral higher time frame perspective, not just what we want to scalp intraday, what would we be looking for? Would we be looking to buy gold here, or would we be looking for price to kind of pull back before then getting long? I would say would very likely be saying, okay, cool, let's see if gold can pull back and then we can take some decent long trades. So yeah, at 100%, the most logical trade today is long, but I just don't see gold pushing from here. It could. It's just that's the wrong answer. It's not to say gold can't push from here. If gold does push from here, I wouldn't buy it this high because there's no risk to reward for me here. You know, buying down here in Asia off that 4,300 level would have been a beautiful trade, buying that 4,300. But buying this high after gold's up, you know, even from FOMC lows over 1,000 ticks, it's like, yeah, this is a very, very, very overextended move. I think if we wanted longs, the longs was yesterday. The longs were yesterday because we were buying at support, buying into the breakout. Whereas if we try and trade this high, you know, we could get chopped in a lot of choppy price action, or price could easily pull back. So yeah, the smart trade is long, but personally, I wouldn't want to buy above yesterday's high, because buying above yesterday's high could easily find some pretty big resistance. We'd want to be buying into yesterday's high, but now that we're already here, yeah, it's kind of where gold gets a little bit tough. Look how nice this buy was in Asia on the higher time frame. Look how beautiful that was. You break out 4,300. You where's my level here? Make it perfect. You break out 4,300. You hold it. You squeeze higher. So if you guys who are trading Asia today, that was a pretty simple buy. Broke above, held it, squeezing higher. Even in this from that 4,300, you know, 200 ticks, man, huge. When are you revealing the big purchase? Well, I did have a lot of issues. I was up till like 2 a.m. last night trying to get the big purchase sorted because it was all finalized and then it wasn't finalized and I almost had to potentially fly back to Australia to get it sorted, but it's almost fully done. It is pretty much 95% finalized now, but next Friday will be the done day. So next Friday I'll talk about it on social media. I'll talk about the Lambo, the gold Lambo with gold as the number plate. Matthew, these ones here I keep separate. And I have some other ones. So yeah, with where gold is. Oh, nice. If you order some, Chris, yes, they should be. Look at gold still squeezing higher. So although that, again, like I say, gold can look like it's going to have a bit of a pullback, look like it's going to rust, but then you can keep squeezing higher. So like I say, if we're going to short gold, we want to see an intraday breakout. Otherwise, we don't want to be calling tops. Like I say, I don't want to buy gold this high either. Yeah, no bottom wick on this hourly too. Good spot. Second home in Spain. The gold Lambo, man. Gold plated Lambo. With Topstep logos all over it. Back in Oz. Now, I tell you guys, the big purchase was I bought my first investment property. I didn't buy a Lambo. I could have bought a Lambo with the same money, but I bought my first investment property. I actually bought 3, but I'll show you guys that at some point. But no, it was as tempting as it was to buy a car, which I easily could have bought like any car, well, maybe not any car, but I could have bought a very, very nice supercar. I decided to buy my first investment property. So property is something I want to kind of do more in 2026. So I'll probably document it a little bit because it's a massive learning curve for me as well. When's the house party? It's got tenants in it, so I don't know if we can kick them out. Maybe we can kick them out. So yeah, we're having a house party. We're having a trading retreat here, whether you like it or not. Not a vacation home for Sammy. Yeah, I wish. No, back in Australia. That's why I almost had to fly home because the banks in Australia all of a sudden couldn't verify my ID after basically giving pre-approval. And then they were basically saying, we need to see you in the bank. And I'm like, it's literally impossible. So I was on FaceTime at like 2 a.m. last night. Get the money working. Yes, absolutely, man. I did have to tie up a decent amount of cash, but it's a very, very, very good buy. We want the Lambo. The mate, we still could get the Lambo. The Lambo could still come. The money that's already made on this property, we could easily buy a Lambo. But nah, yeah, as tempting as it is to buy some sort of car, I just know me personally, if I bought like a fancy car, I just know that after like a couple of months, the novelty would wear off. And although don't get me wrong, I would like to have like a nice car at some point, I just don't know if I care that much. Or I want to pay for like a nice car, not from trading, like something completely different from the markets. They're near Brisbane. I got three places near Brisbane. Silver, yeah, definitely. Let's have a look. So Silver's been on an absolutely incredible run. Yeah, exactly. That's it, man. If that's what you're into, 100%. If I had some sort of other income paying for the toys like that, like property, then yeah, sure, why not? But if it was just from trading, I don't think it would be a smart decision. Hey, you're a mortgage broker, man. Yeah, it was very strange, Matt. Everything was approved. Like everything was all approved. I think what happened is I renewed my driver's license like last week, and for some reason they all of a sudden tried to open me the bank, couldn't verify it, and then they all of a sudden couldn't verify my passport and driver's license. They were like, yeah, you need to come into the bank, but they wouldn't really explain why. Then yesterday I was on FaceTime till like 2 a.m. trying to get it sorted, and I woke up this morning, it's finally sorted. So might be too much of a personal question, but how are you able to have the right to stay in Australia as a trader? I'm not on a visa. I have full New Zealand citizenship. I have a full New Zealand passport and citizenship, so I'm fortunate that I can live in New Zealand and Australia. My parents lived there for like 5 years before I was even born, so it was NAB. It was NAB, man. So yeah, I have full New Zealand passport, which is pretty lucky, considering I'd never even been there before. I have now, but at the time I had never been there. But because my parents lived there, I had full citizenship, which I just applied one day, and I got a full passport, citizenship, like everything in the post. And then I remember the first time I went to New Zealand, they were like, "Welcome home." I was like, "I've never even been here before, but thank you." So I was yeah, very, very, very lucky. Silver's been on a phenomenal run here. Let's have a quick look at gold. Gold's still squeezing, guys. Silver's been on a huge run, like an absolutely crazy run. In the past like couple of days, silver's up like 11%, which is absolutely huge. No way, tax-free, that's crazy. That's amazing. So silver, obviously the bias is just very simple. You want to be continuing to buy, kind of like we said yesterday. If you guys remember what we said yesterday about silver, how do you trade the all-time highs? Sorry, 2 seconds, guys. Yeah, how do you trade all-time highs? It's kind of like what we said yesterday for you guys who were here. When you're actually peaking at all-time highs, you don't want to be trading all-time highs. You want to let price pull back and then continue buying, like here. You don't trade up here because anything can happen. Could you continue pushing? Yes, of course. But you also could pull back, and you don't want to get trapped in that. There's no risk to reward. So what you want to do on silver is let price pull back to these levels. And then when you buy from down here, well, you now have price action to the left to base trades off and base exits off and base targets off. So then you buy up into the highs. So here is pretty much the exact same thing. This is how we were trading gold for the whole entire all-time high run this year, is we weren't trading up here. We were letting this happen, letting the pullbacks, reversal signs happen, and then buying back up into the all-time highs. So you pretty much just want to be doing the same thing. You've kind of already done it a little bit here. Printed new all-time high, you pulled back, you're breaking back above. So silver, I would just look to continue buying. Super simple. I wouldn't overcomplicate all-time highs too much. As much as we might want to get the urge to, try and call tops and try and sell, let the pullback happen and continue buying. You would rather be wrong looking for longs than wrong trying to call tops and you continue squeezing, because you're going to look back and kick yourself. So personally, I would just still look for continuation buys on silver. Wow, look at gold. Look at this on gold, guys. Gold up 80 ticks, no bottom wick on this hourly. So gold is still squeezing. Like I say, guys, I don't want to try and trade gold this high. You know, this could happen, but you could also easily retrace all of this move. So it's kind of hard to want to trade gold this high. There's also no bottom wick on this hourly time frame. No bottom wick means it can be created at any point. So all of a sudden we start selling back off, you could come right back down to retrace this move. This is a very, very clean run up here on gold. But again, it started at like 5 a.m. If we were looking for buys on gold, it would have been around here, not up here. Again, we have to think logically, not based off emotions, because you've already pushed so much. Yeah, Peter, I would actually love to explore that, man. It's something I'd love to learn more. I think there's good tax benefits there as well. Yeah, I definitely want to explore that more. I think it can actually work out better, to be honest, man. This is my first one, so I want to do residential for the first one, but commercial, yeah, I would love to look into that more. If you have any teachings, man, or know anywhere to look into, yeah, I would love to learn about that more. So silver, I would continue looking for longs on silver. What else? We called some, what other liquidity? We spoke about a lot of liquidity levels yesterday. What happened to this trend line? So, what's happened to my trend lines here? This, I assume, would have been here, and we would have been looking for this yesterday. You guys who were here yesterday, I don't know why that was down there, but that's basically exactly the same thing that we spoke about. Yeah, for a deposit, yeah, I put down a very decent deposit, man. A very, very decent deposit. So you guys who were here yesterday on the euro, if you remember what we spoke about on the euro, we mentioned the exact same thing that we have literally just spent the past half an hour talking about on gold. I don't trade silver, I don't trade the euro, but look at how our exact plan and everything that we just spoke about has happened here on silver, literally yesterday. The good thing about showing you guys this is, you know, with my plan, I don't cherry pick setups that work every now and again. You guys can see this working on multiple different markets every single day. So if you guys really listen to what we're saying, you understand these liquidity levels, you guys can absolutely start taking advantage of these trades. Where was, did we speak about the euro yesterday or was it the day before? Oh, maybe it was the day before actually. Maybe it was pre-FOMC. Maybe it wasn't yesterday. Let me see. Where are we? Maybe it wasn't yesterday. Let's have a look. I think it was maybe before FOMC. Not that it matters. I'm sure you guys can go back and watch it. Oh, there you go. There. So look, there you go. This is what we were talking about on Wednesday. Euro longs. Talking about euro longs because you had this massive trend line coming down where most people are trying to short. So you're trying to buy up into that. So if you were there, here on Wednesday, well, look how the euro played out. We were given some pre-FOMC liquidity levels, and the euro hit absolutely perfectly. Not only did the euro hit, this is a huge move for the euro. I don't day trade currencies anymore. I used to swing trade currencies, but this is an absolutely huge call. And again, this is where most people get trapped in shorts. You're looking to buy up into a lot of these levels. I think our liquidity levels were back up here or something. And that was an absolute huge move. So the euro, again, I would look to continue buying. But again, you know, at what point do you have to accept that the longs were from down here that we called on Wednesday and the longs are from down here? You know, if we all of a sudden start trading here, are we just maybe FOMOing into this trade when we really know the best buys on the euro, which do happen a couple of times a week, but the best way to trade currencies on the higher time frame? The best trades here would have been Wednesday and Thursday. I think trying to buy Friday after the euro is already up like 1%, which is, again, for if you trade currencies, that's a very decent move. 1.2% for the euro is a very, very big move up. So at what point do you not try and chase this high? Let's have a look, Senna. The view app, 30 short-term high trades. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a nice pullback. I like that. Is that silver? Is that gold? Gold. Yeah, nice. Nice. I like that. Yeah, nice one, Tom. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Have a safe flight, and I'll talk to you soon. Talk to you next week, man. Need the mental reset. Yes, absolutely, man. Market's going nowhere. Market's going nowhere, man. So euro, obviously, we had great long call here in the euro. Like I say, I don't trade the euro, but I break down these markets so you guys can follow these liquidity levels throughout the day and throughout the week. And this was an absolutely phenomenal call here on the euro. Great call on gold. Great call on the euro. NQ, again, the best call on NQ right now is nothing, to be honest. I think you have to wait for NQ to trade wait for New York to trade NQ. Wait for NQ to trade NQ. I'd be waiting for New York. You may get some liquidity wicks, and I'd be looking for longs. Hi Aaron, sorry if this is common knowledge. No need to apologize, man. You can ask any questions. Can I ask about what account size you are using and how many do you copy across? I mean, this Topstep account I'm using right here is a 100K account. And I'm copying maybe 2 here. Because this account here, I've just been trading on its own. If I had been copy trading, like 2 to 3, what would be up like 39,000. But I don't really copy my Topstep accounts too much. To be honest, this is my main account, which I focus on the most, and I'll have a different account that I might take some riskier trades on or some test trades on some other markets, but this is a 100K account that is fully funded and is up 13%, 13.2% in the last month and a half, or 2 months, 2 months. About 2 months. 19th of October, which is when I got it, to almost the 19th. So this is just a 100K account. And I've had some pretty decent payouts from this as well. I've had two payouts from this account. I took out like I think like 3-ish thousand here, and there was another like 3,000 the other time. So I've taken like 6,000 from this account, and I still have about 6,000 in the account. Hey Aaron, I want to take those longs in Asia, but since gold never grabbed any lows and PA fell off, do you think there's anything wrong? No, I would be thinking the exact same, which is why I do think gold can come back down into these lows. So I was kind of looking at this as well. You know, you had a perfect trend line coming down. So again, you're buying up into that trend line. You're buying up into where most people are trying to short. But I agree. It's easy for me to say in hindsight, oh, you know, this was a great buy. But realistically, I would have been thinking you're probably going to come down here before doing that. If you did that, yeah, I would take this long all day long. But the fact that you didn't do this makes me think gold still could do that, which is the reason I'm not buying this high. I'm not buying this high because you never liquidate any of these lows. There's currently no bottom wick on this hourly time frame. So to me, gold could easily retrace today. I'm not looking for a huge retracement on gold, but I agree. If you want to buy this high in comparison to how much we've moved yesterday, then I need to. I don't just want to see like that. I think that's what everyone's looking for. I want to see this. If I'm gonna buy this high, I want to see this. I want to see a bit of a range, tag the lows, break higher. Look at this, break up, range, tag the lows, break higher. That's what we want to see here on gold. It's exactly the same thing on FOMC. You range, tag the lows, rip higher. So yeah, I agree. I wouldn't have taken this trade in Asia. Sometimes, like I say, it's easy to look back at this and go, oh, damn, like Asia had great buys. But I know for myself, and if I'm being completely honest with myself, I wouldn't have taken this because you didn't grab the lows. Hey Aaron, hey Jason. You mentioned you also watch gold in the FX pairs. Do you also pay attention to psychological levels and currencies? Yes. Exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. 4200s. Where's gold at? What was my levels I was watching on gold yesterday? Pretty much the exact same thing. Yeah, gold broke above 4200. Yesterday you hit 4250, and now you're coming for 4300. So yeah, same thing. Same with with the currency pairs. I don't know if I have them on my chart here anymore, but if I look at Euro USD here, which chart did I used to use? Do I have any levels? Probably not. Even if I was looking at the USD, I look at the 1.16, 1.7, 1.165, all of them levels in between. Them key levels in the higher time frame of currencies and gold. Same as NQ, get respected very, very, very well for good reasoning. So yeah, I do watch the same. To be honest, I haven't been watching the currency chart on gold as much recently. I've mainly just been looking at the futures price action. I do still watch the currency chart. I think it's still important to watch for the liquidity gaps, but I'm mainly just sticking to this futures chart, to be honest. Every now and again, I'll check the spot chart to see if maybe something like this. You kind of see here, see how the futures chart didn't grab any of the lows. I'll just quickly check the spot chart to make sure the spot chart didn't do it. Which I didn't actually check. Let me see. I don't think it did, but let me just have a look. Anyone know if it got grabbed on the spot chart? I don't think it did. Let me just have a quick look. Because if it did, then there's your buy. Gold 15. No, it didn't get grabbed. No, it didn't. So even the spot chart didn't grab them lows. So it didn't. Yeah, cool. If the spot chart had grabbed these lows, then you could buy the futures. But even the spot chart didn't grab them lows. But it was a lovely run up into the highs. Let's see, NQ still in the range. Goldie, remember guys, there's no bottom wick on this hourly. No bottom wick on the hourly means it can easily be created. Look at this. It's hard to see now because it's looking so bullish. But when you see a candle open and instantly push up, to me, that looks like a potential liquidity wick to come right back down. It's very rare you'll see gold close bullish with no bottom wick on the hourly time frame. So if there's a high chance that you won't close bullish with no bottom wick on the low of the candle, then that means it can be created at any point. So therefore, rather than trying to get glued and chase longs this high, if we know that, well, there's a high chance we could come right back for this current hourly opening here. Or if you close bullish with no bottom wick, which does happen, very rare, but it does happen, you can typically see price get drawn back there as well. You can usually come down, grab the lows before you then break back higher anyway. So if you try and trade here, you can end up getting caught up because price could easily come back lower before going higher. So with where gold is right now, I think it's going to be a little bit of a patience area here. Like I say, although there wasn't really an entry to buy this, that doesn't really mean the markets can't range. Yeah, it's still a 200 tick push. Yeah, sometimes if you have to like really zoom in, I still class it as no bottom wick. Like I probably, like if you zoom like right the way in, there probably is a little one, but realistically, like even if you just look at it from here, look how clear it is to see all of the wicks. See, even you can even see this little one. But when you can't really see it, yeah, I kind of class it as no bottom wick. Because even you look at all of these, only happened here once. But yeah, this is a huge move up on gold, definitely. And like I say, if I was looking at this from a swing trading perspective, would I be looking for long positions up here, or would I be looking for long positions down here? Well, I was looking for long positions down here, so I don't really want to try and scalp here, because like I say, we could easily pull back on gold. If you were to stick on a fib from this FOMC low to where we are now, yeah, you could easily retrace it. I don't think it will come down as low as 50%, but you know, even to maybe just test these Asia lows again. Test these Asia lows. How often do we see gold just break out, hit it once and rip? But it's not like usually you break out, you hit it, you push, then you come all the way back down and then you push. So I still think intraday shorts on gold makes the most sense. That doesn't mean I'm going to sell it because I do know gold is bullish. But again, that's just me seeing the markets from a neutral perspective. Because I can see it potentially pulling back from here. I wouldn't want to get trapped chasing this high. And it could easily pull back quite a lot. Like I said, if we'd grabbed the lows, fantastic. Would be buying that all day long. How's everyone's week been? How have you guys found the markets this week? You guys made money, break even, small losses. How's everyone found the markets this week? It's been a very quiet week for me personally. Other than yesterday, it's been a very, very quiet week. Like I said, I haven't really I've taken 2 trades this week on this account. 2 trades, which to be honest, I'm pretty happy with, because there was a lot of noise on these days. And this was a loss that, to be honest, I shouldn't have lost on this day. This shouldn't have been a losing day, but it was. So bad month. Yep. Price action definitely has been. The price action would suggest a bit of a losing month, which is normal. Again, it's normal. Been a traveling week. Oh, nice, cool. So no trades, good man. No trades is good. No trades is good, man. That's what we like to hear. Digital we must trade. Yep, ready for trading. Need to learn from. Yep, absolutely. That's it. If you've had a bit of a losing week and you've lost a lot, which I think is pretty justifiable in the price action we have seen on gold, other than yesterday. Yeah, I think it's always good to, like I say, guys, go back and reflect on, you know, the losses you took and how could you have maybe minimized them losses. Were you too zoned in on the lower time frame? Did you need to zoom out? You know, reflect on it all and try and learn as much as possible. Yep, there you go down. Yep, not much trading, small losses, small wins. That's fantastic. That's really good. Capital preservation for me. Nice, Sean. Happy with how I'm keeping out of the losing tough markets. Yep. Just disappointed to not capitalize on the move yesterday. Yes, absolutely. Nice on it. There you go. Best 2 weeks in a long time. Copying 4 accounts. Amazing. Day off for FOMC. Yep, nice. And only 1 red day, minus 68 last Monday. Yeah, it's amazing. Doubt of the strat, which is a bad mindset to be in. It happens though, man. It happens. It happens. When in fact it's me. Well, that's the thing. That's what we kind of have to accept. You know, sometimes it's easy to doubt a strategy or want to do something different. But if we, you know, doubt ourselves every time the markets maybe go a little bit quiet, you know, we'll always find ourselves searching for that shiny object, which unfortunately doesn't exist. The biggest thing in trading is, yeah, like you say, is trying to master ourselves. Because we can see gold. Like, you know, we look at this on gold. You know, gold in the past 2 days is up 1,000 ticks. So the move's there. Like, the plan is absolutely there. We know the plan's there. It's just managing our times during the times where it's not there. Like, the moves have been like really nice on gold. Like I say, you could have, you know, taken 1 or 2 trades Monday to Thursday with FOMC, and you come on here on Friday and you absolutely make your week. But yeah, that is a good thing to actually accept. Is, yeah, sometimes you think it's the strategy or you think it's the markets, but for the most part, it's usually ourselves. Sometimes, don't get me wrong, you can have times in the markets where trading becomes hard. That's normal. But for the most part, yeah, it is ourselves. Struggling to manage ourselves is the hardest part. Good question, Matt. Hey, man. Your trade from yesterday, it didn't grab the lowest low before the big move up. I was wondering if you were looking for that to potentially be grabbed for the push. I was, up until this hourly closed bullish. You know, at this point, I think, oh yeah, maybe I'm going to get long from down here. So I was like, yeah, maybe you're going to come down and grab these lows first when this closed bearish. But then as soon as this candle here tagged lows and closed bullish, well, like, I'll just react to that. I don't worry about what's down here. As soon as we break out, I'll take the trade from here. And again, when I got stopped out here, then I also thought, okay, cool. Maybe we're going to come for these lows again. So I'm going to wait a little bit. See you, bro, dinner time. Yeah, nice one, man. I'll talk to you. We'll jump on our call next week. Appreciate you tuning in, man. So yeah, when this closed bearish and I got stopped out here, I thought, yeah, maybe we're going to come down and grab these lows. But then you reclosed back bullish again. So I was like, fine, let me just zoom out again. Yeah, you've closed bullish, you've tagged the lows, you've broken out. I'll take it. I'll take it from here. You know, even if it was just a retracement back up into these levels before then coming with them lows, I was like, you know, from here to here, I still want to be reacting to this. As long as you break out, I don't really worry about what's down here. As long as you have grabbed some lows, which you did do like a few times, then I'll react to this bullish closure. But yeah, I definitely was thinking we may come and grab these lows. I was like, if we grab the lows, it gives me more confidence to take probably a bigger trade. But because we broke out here, I was like, yeah, I'm happy to take the longs at 3 o'clock. When this had this huge liquidity wick, although it didn't come down this low, and again, unless it did on the currency, I was happy to take it. Which is a good point. Did it get grabbed on the currency? I didn't actually check. Let's have a look. I don't think it did, but let me see. Did you come that low yesterday? No, you didn't come that low either. So no, I was like, yeah, as long as you, yeah, it didn't yet. Again, it's one of them things where sometimes you can think a certain level is going to get grabbed, but remember, we always have to remember the markets don't care about what we think. As long as you have grabbed some lows and you break out, that's the most important part. Is, you know, I don't start buying here. Because buying here, then I'm like, yeah, you could easily come down and tag these lows. But once we actually break out, then I want to react to this move first. Because you could easily do, and that's what sometimes I would do with these liquidity levels, is I would be too obsessed over this and I would miss out on, you know, potential 100-tick retracements before it came down to grab it later. So with this trade, I was kind of thinking, well, we could easily come back up, grab some highs, and then maybe come for the lows. And I was like, well, I don't want to miss out on this move because that's like a 200-tick move. I want to take this. And that's why, you know, with gold, I didn't know we were going to come this high. That's why I kind of took my trade from like here to here. So it's always, it kind of comes back to trying to stay as reactive as possible. If you tag lows, although you haven't tagged the lowest point, if you have grabbed some lows, you're holding support, you're breaking out, I want to be taking it. Hey Aaron, hey man. When you have a setup that comes 1 or 2 hours before market closes, do you take it anyway, knowing it could be the last long for the time? Had that case yesterday. I don't trade until the market close, man. My day's well and done by then. My day's done by about 4 o'clock London time. I never watch the markets that long, man. I'm well and truly clocking out by then. Mentally, it's too long in the day for me. But yeah, let's just say if I did trade market close, if there was a setup coming the last 1 to 2 hours, I would just wait for the rollover. Wait for Asia. I don't ever trade that late. But yeah, I would just wait for, if it was like a perfect swing trade, for example. Yeah, I'd just wait for the next day. I wouldn't want to take it beforehand, and you kind of think like, if I've had all day to trade, do I have any reason to be having to trade the last hour? If I have a reason to trade the last hour, I would, yeah, let it come for the next day, the next session, and just take a new trade in Asia. Because I wouldn't want it to kind of chop around. Close me out, because we have to close our trades by 3 o'clock Central Time before then it ends up doing what I want. I'd rather just wait till the next session. I'm not on the charts that long, but I'm on the charts for like 2-3 hours a day maximum. I don't really watch the. I'll look at the charts into market close, but that's only if I'm doing the Asia market call for the next day. Misinterpreted that breakout. Felt like it was more at resistance. Yeah, it was at resistance, but it was at resistance without grabbing any highs, with a bullish daily bias. So that's what most people would have been thinking. Most people would have been thinking, shorting here. But the reason we're looking to buy into this breakout is because of this move up here. This move up was a daily breakout, and this was nothing but a daily bottom wick to continue pushing. So it might have been an intraday resistance, but it was still a higher time frame support. The higher time frame had already broken out. But again, you could have just waited for it to break out here. Maybe you could take it from here to here, for example. But this, to me, this 30-minute here was the breakout. And this hourly here was also the breakout. You kind of see here. There's your here, look. Broke above. Huge liquidity wick. Held support. Big rip. Yeah, context. Yeah, I can see what you mean, though. You're kind of thinking this is right at resistance, which is not wrong. Maybe you could have just taken, this buy here at 3 o'clock, for example. As soon as you see this wick rejection, this again is more of a trap to bring in more sellers. So there was actually more buys here at 3 o'clock. Now, why is this rejection a trap to bring in sellers? Well, because you rejected a previous high without grabbing it. So therefore, that becomes your double top. See here, this rejection, that brings in even more sellers. So you could have even taken this breakout. You could have even maybe taken it from here, for example. 330, 245 ticks in 30 minutes. Huge. So I can see what you mean. Maybe you could have even seen yesterday, oh, maybe this is a range. I don't want to trade in here. Which, to be honest, I think is a pretty logical thought process. But as you break out, maybe you can take it from here, for example. This rejection brings in sellers. Why would we not sell this? Well, we haven't grabbed previous highs. That's a trap to bring in sellers. Well, as soon as we tag lows close bullish, well then, of course, there's now a very high chance you're going to come up and liquidate all these highs. But yeah, my breakout for this trade was here. That's what I was thinking. That's kind of what I was thinking there. Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, of course, man. Of course, it's a good question to ask. It's a very valid question. Do I only trade gold? Yes, I only trade gold. I look at other markets for you guys as well, but me personally, I 90% of the time only execute on gold. All these trades that I show you guys here is gold. Majority of these trades, 2 or 3 out of this whole entire progress, which is 66 trades, is NQ. Majority of these trades are just gold. Just Goldie. Goldie's good to me. Anytime I cheat on gold and trade something else, it always reminds me why I should not do that. So with gold ripping high, guys, it is Friday here. I don't think I'm going to take any trades today, guys. Gold's already up, like almost over 1,000 ticks in the past 2 trading days. Gold is very overextended here and very, very high. So I don't really want to be trading gold this high. But again, guys, if you have tuned in today, this has been a very, very, very valuable session. Hopefully you guys have learned something here this morning as well, because that's what it's all about. Remember, guys, it's Friday after a pretty volatile week in the markets. Do I play golf? I have tried to play a little bit of golf. I'm not the best. Trading and golf, I find it can be very frustrating. I would like to play a little bit more though. I've played a handful of times. I definitely want to try and play golf a little bit more. It's a very mental sport. But I do have a lot of friends who play, so I definitely want to get into it more. But yeah, for time being, guys, gold is having a huge rip. The buys on gold were yesterday, not this high. So be very cautious trading gold this high. For me personally, I'm just going to have to, accept that it's this high and just take a step back and wait. Remember, guys, you don't have to be in a position every single time the markets are moving up and down. We need to follow our plan. So golf is for swing traders. There you go. We'll end it on that right there. Nice, Bruno. I'll see you guys same time again all next week. Trade safe today, guys. It's Friday. Gold's had a big move already. Don't chase the markets. And I'll see you guys same time again every day next week. Trade safe. Have a good weekend. I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers, guys.